If you are a man over 60, you have probably been told that women stop noticing you at a certain age. That is not true. Something else is happening, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. A researcher named Monica Moore sat in bars and community halls for more than 100 hours, watching how women actually show interest. She watched over 200 women. She wrote down 52 different signals they used. Not one of those signals was walking up and saying it. Then she checked which women got approached by men. It was not the prettiest ones. It was the ones who signaled the most often. The signal mattered more than the looks. And most men sat right there and missed it. Here is what that means for you. After 60, a woman almost never tells you she is interested. She asks you a question instead. The question sounds like nothing. You answer it politely, you answer it correctly, and the door closes while you are still talking. I am going to give you 7 of those questions today. For each one, I will tell you what she is really asking, the answer that loses her, and the answer that keeps her. Stay until the 7th. That is the one men miss the most, and it is the one that costs the most. One quick thing first, because it explains all 7. She does not ask you straight out because she cannot afford to. If she says the words and you say no, she has to sit there afterwards. Her friends will hear about it. Maybe her children will. So she says something that could mean 2 things. If you are interested, you hear the invitation. If you are not, she can say she was only making conversation and nothing happened. Researchers who study flirting have a name for this. They found that people build that escape route in on purpose. It is not that she is being unclear. It is that being unclear is the only way she can ask at all. Now here are the 7. The first question is, what do you do with your time now? It sounds like small talk about retirement. Most men treat it that way. They give a list. Golf on Tuesday, the grandchildren on Sunday, a bit of work around the house. That is not what she is measuring. She wants to know if there is room. Think about it from her side. She is not looking for a busy man. She is not looking for an empty man either. She is looking for a man with a gap in his week that a person could fit into. There is good research behind this. A Stanford psychologist named Laura Carstensen found that as people get older, they stop collecting new things and start protecting what actually matters. They cut people out. They stop spending time on anything that is not worth it. She has already done that to her own life. Now she is checking yours. Here is where men lose her. Some list everything they do, hoping it sounds impressive. What she hears is a week with no room in it. Others say they do not do much anymore. What she hears is a man with nothing going on. Both answers fail. So when she asks what you do with your time, she is asking if there is space for someone. Do not give her your whole schedule. Do not tell her you do nothing. Say something like, "My mornings are busy, my evenings are free, and I keep meaning to do more with the free part." That tells her your life works. And it tells her there is a door in it. The second question is, do you cook for yourself? It sounds like she is making conversation about food. Most men treat it as a joke about themselves. They say they burn everything. They say they live on frozen dinners. She is not asking about food. She is asking if there is a woman in your house. She cannot ask that. It is too direct. If she is wrong, she looks foolish. So she asks about your kitchen, because your kitchen answers it for her. I heard about a man who met a woman at a community garden. They had been talking 20 minutes when she asked if he cooked for himself. He laughed and said he had not made a proper meal since his wife passed. The conversation kept going, but she never asked him anything personal again. Months later, he worked out what had happened. She had been asking if the seat beside him was empty. He answered with a story about grief. The mistake was not mentioning his wife. The mistake was leaving the answer in the past. So when she asks if you cook for yourself, she is asking if anyone is looking after you. Do not turn it into a joke. Do not answer with a story from years ago. Say something like, I manage fine, but cooking for one gets old. That is honest. It is not a complaint. And it tells her the seat is empty without you having to say it. The third question is, who took this photo of you? Sometimes it is a photograph. Sometimes it is, who picked out that shirt? Sometimes it is, who do you usually come to these things with? Different words, same job. She is looking for another woman in your life, and she is doing it in a way she can walk away from. Watch how safe that question is for her. If it turns out you are married, nothing has happened. She asked about a picture, she keeps her dignity, and goes home. Here is where men lose her. They answer only the question. My daughter took it, full stop. That answer is correct, and the conversation dies, because you gave her a fact when she was reaching for a door. You do not have to announce that you are single. You just have to let the real answer come out sideways. So when she asks who took the photo, she is asking if there is a woman in the picture with you. Do not just name the person and stop. Say something like, my daughter took it. She keeps telling me I need better photos now that it is just me. Same fact. But now she has what she came for, and neither of you had to be direct about it. The fourth question is, do you ever get lonely? This one is different, and you should treat it differently. The first three were her looking around. This one is her taking a risk. She has just said something out loud that most people her age never say. She did that because the safe questions were not getting her anywhere. There was a famous study on this by a psychologist named Arthur Aron. He put strangers together and had them ask each other questions that got more and more personal. Another set of strangers just made small talk for the same amount of time. The pairs who got personal felt far closer afterwards. Not because they had things in common, because they had been honest with each other, a little at a time. That is what she is doing. She is not making the conversation sad. She is testing whether you will meet her there, because she already knows that is the only place anything real gets built. Here is where men lose her. They deflect. I keep busy. Oh, I am fine. They change the subject to something lighter, trying to be polite. But polite is exactly what she is trying to get past. So when she asks if you get lonely, she is asking if you can be honest with her. Do not say you are fine. Do not open a wound either. Say something like, sometimes. The evenings are the strangest part. That is enough. It is true, it is not heavy, and it tells her you can be honest without falling apart. The fifth question is, what was she like? If you are widowed or divorced and she asks about the woman before her, most men think this is a trap. Some go quiet, some talk for 20 minutes. She is not comparing herself. She is listening to how you talk about a woman who is not in the room. That is all she needs. If you speak warmly, she learns you are capable of warmth. If you speak bitterly, she learns what she will sound like one day if this goes badly. If you cannot speak at all, she learns the seat is still taken. I heard about a man at a bereavement group who was asked this by a woman he had been sitting near for weeks. He said his wife was funny and that she would have liked this woman. Then he asked her a question back. He had no idea it mattered. She told him months later that it was the moment she decided he was still available in the way that counts. So when she asks what she was like, she is asking whether your heart still works. Do not go silent. Do not talk for 20 minutes. Say something like, she was good to me. I was lucky. Then ask her something back. Have you been on your own long? That last part is not a trick. It is just the thing most men forget to do. The sixth question is, would your family mind if you started seeing someone? This sounds like she is asking about your children. Men treat it that way and start explaining. My son has opinions. My daughter took it hard. It has been complicated since their mother died. You have just answered a question she did not ask. She is not asking about your family. She is asking if you have already made up your mind. She does not want to be the reason an argument starts in your house. She wants to know that argument is already over and that you finished it before she came along. Remember what Carstensen found. Older people cut things out of their lives on purpose. That is a decision, not an accident. She has made hers. She is checking if you have made yours. Here is where men lose her. Any answer that puts her in the middle of your family sounds like work, and she has had enough work. So when she asks if your family would mind, she is asking if you have decided. Do not explain your children to her. Say something like, "They would want me to be happy, and it is my decision now." Short, settled, nothing there for her to worry about. The seventh question is the one men miss most. And it does not sound like a question about you at all. Are you going to be there next week? That is it. That is the whole thing. The church supper, the class, the walking group, the market. Every man hears a question about his calendar. Almost every man answers it that way. Probably. Depends. We will see. Go back to Monica Moore for a second. What predicted whether a man approached a woman was not one big gesture. It was how often she signaled, again and again, until somebody finally noticed. Are you going to be there next week? Is that same signal in words. She is not asking about your diary. She is arranging to see you again while keeping the ability to say she was only being friendly. It is the safest question she has. That is exactly why she uses it. And a vague answer does not sound busy to her. It sounds like no. She took the smallest risk she could, and it came back soft. So when she asks if you will be there next week, she is asking to see you again. Do not say probably. Say yes. Then ask, are you? 2 words and a question back. You have accepted her invitation and given her one, and neither of you had to say anything that could be repeated to a friend later. I heard about a man who was asked this 3 separate times by the same woman at a Tuesday class before he understood it. He said yes on the 3rd time. They were together 4 years. He said later that what stayed with him was not the 2 he missed. It was working out that she had risked it 3 times. Now look at all 7 together. What do you do with your time? Do you cook for yourself? Who took this photo? Do you ever get lonely? What was she like? Would your family mind? Are you going to be there next week? 7 different questions, one thing underneath every single one of them. Each one sounds harmless on the surface. Each one can be dropped without embarrassment if you do not respond. And each one is asking the same thing. Is there room, and would you notice if I made some? That is what changes after 60, not her interest, just the way it arrives. And this still matters, because most of it is still happening face to face. The Pew Research Center found that only about 1 in 6 Americans over 50 have ever used a dating app, and only 3 in 100 were using one when they were asked. Whatever is going to happen for you is most likely going to happen in an ordinary room, in an ordinary conversation, with somebody who will never say it plainly. It is not confidence you need. It is not looks. It is attention. The men who do well after 60 are not the richest or the smoothest. They are the ones who stopped answering the surface of the question and started listening for the one underneath. Next time a woman your age asks you something that feels a little too personal for the moment you are in, do not rush to answer it well. Stop. Ask yourself why she picked that question out of everything she could have said. She almost certainly picked it on purpose. And she is waiting to see if you noticed. If this made you think about a conversation you have already had, tell me in the comments which of the 7 you have been asked, and whether you knew it at the time. I read them.